guys, it is Friday afternoon and it's gorgeous out. It's one of my favorite times to start thinking about content because a lot of brands on the weekends go to sleep, which gives you a lot of opportunity. And a couple things that have happened this week that you should be paying attention to. One, if you haven't gone back to revisit Snapchat and the changes that they made to the platform, you should probably do that. And that's for two reasons. One, because the change that they made to the platform is this momentary lapse of democratization, meaning before there was the Discover panel, right, where they had all the publishers there, and then there were all the stories that you were following, and what would happen is the famous Snapchatters would pop up to the top, and then you would kind of vie for whatever is left, right? Well, now you're kind of all in a mix. So if you have any sort of personality, there's some space in Snapchat for you to kind of thrive. A momentary space for you to thrive and play around with the new algorithm before they kind of tweak it and see what's finally going to happen, especially as they're continuing to roll out their ad platform. Two, stories are becoming super important. If you have not played with stories, obviously on Snapchat or Instagram, I'm going to tell you that you might have missed the story that Google is now launching something called AMP stories that look just like, wait for it, Snapchat and Instagram stories. So if you're not able to tell a story, if you're not able to kind of leverage ephemeral storytelling, so stories that last a finite amount of time and then take off, now is the time to start figuring that out. And that's why I'm doing this at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday, because the weekend is a great time to experiment. It's a great time to reach out to new customers because they're changing their habits for the weekend, and a great time for you to play. So your assignment this weekend is to start playing, especially with Instagram stories, because the changes that happen on Instagram stories are really, really cool. And what are those changes? Well, one of those changes is the fact that you now can use the text slide at the beginning. If you haven't played around with the new updates to Instagram, there's the ability to put text. And what I like to do is put the stories into categories, right? To put them in an actual story. So have a introduction and then the story and then a close so that people know when that story is over. A lot of people and a lot of brands just kind of do story after story, or call it snap after snap after snap, and then you're not really sure when something's starting and when something's ending. And that can be particularly tricky if you're doing this every day, because if they're checking at a particular time, they can see the middle of one story bleeding into another one. And if you are setting essentially a title screen and a closing credit, so to speak movie terms, that will help them understand when the story is over. So get on Instagram or Snapchat, whichever one you prefer, and play this weekend. All right, have an awesome weekend. We will see you on Monday.